one of the things that I have a huge critique of most conservative movements, including American conservatism and Canadian conservatism, especially Canadian conservatism, is that we're not very good at selling a positive vision for anything. And that drives me insane, because eventually, you can't just keep on responding to the negatives in the world. You can't just exclusively respond to the negative things that are happening and expect people to, buy into your vision for your country, because you have no vision for the country. You have an anti-vision to whatever is happening and whatever's being brought on by your opposition. That's no way to win people to any kind of cause. And the reason for that is people can only take negativity for so long, especially in the culture we live in today. People are depressed. People are kind of hopeless. And I mean, this is a perfect example, is in Canadian politics. Pierre Poilievre made the entire election anti-Trudeau. All the Canadian Conservatives made it anti-Trudeau. Everything was anti-Trudeau, and there was very little positive direction for the country, because the only positive direction that they could put forward was an anti-Trudeau kind of message. And as soon as Trudeau was gone, that negativity towards Trudeau, that anti-Trudeau mentality, it was gone. You couldn't use it anymore, because they so strategically distanced themselves from Trudeau. Even though it wasn't true, they rhetorically did very well at that. So that's why you need to have a positive vision for a country, or for any kind of movement. If you're purely reactionary, it'll only take you so far. You get the rage, you get the frustration, but you don't get buy-in long term, because it's like once the people have, let's say, acted on their rage, and they've overthrown the system that they don't like, be it through whatever violent revolution or through voting. It's like the seeker sensitive movement, like the slogan that everyone who is anti-seeker sensitive movement, including myself, you have to keep them. I think it's like you have to keep them with what you bring them in with, or something like that. How you get them is how you keep them. Something like that, which basically is saying, if you keep, or if you get people in through simplicity and feelings and emotion and not very deep, nothing deep, then that's how you're going to have to retain them, because they're not going to, like, that's what they've bought into. And so for politics or culture building, or really like any kind of movement, the challenge that you're going to face is, if you are solely built on negativity, you will very quickly lose support when the thing that you're directing that negativity towards has disappeared. So long story short here, if you've ousted a government that you don't like, or you've ousted a leader that you don't like in your corporation or at your church, like if you get rid of your pastor or whatever, but the movement was centered not around a positive movement towards something better, but it was just centered around the hatred for that thing or for that person, what happens is, as soon as that person or that thing is gone, that movement is ousted, you have no foundation to actually rally people around, because the thing that you put all of your effort into is now in the rear view mirror. You can't constantly go back and say, oh, look at how bad things used to be. People are looking for what good thing is coming ahead. So it's got to be positive. And that's, I think, part of the reason why Poilievre lost in Canada, is because we were unable to, and by we, I mean the Conservative Party was unable to have a cohesive future vision that was positive for the Conservatives, that was outside of Trudeau and his negative influence on the country. And so as soon as Carney came in, he very quickly pivoted everything over to a positive vision, even though it was essentially it was a positive vision that in my mind was, it was just, rewording the liberal agenda for the last 10 years. It was cleverly done, but, I digress.